What is up, guys? I'm still a little bit shaken on the Big Bang Theory thing. Anyhow, today I'm going to be talking about Attack on Titan. Um, Basically, this is going to be on predictions and also a little bit of discussion. Basically, I've finished reading all the anime episodes, so the latest one's 25. There's nothing after that, and I want to follow up on one thing and then talk about what I predict on the future. And then I'm going to talk about the manga. So, first off, it was pointed out in the comments that if you watch until after the credits of episode 25, there is a plot teaser. So, the structure of these 25 episodes, it was made so that the 25th one was a special one. It was like the season finale. It ended the season, and therefore the credits were longer in a more formal setting, displaying more people. And at the end, just like a movie, there was this little cliffhanger. And so, as you recall, what happened was Annie decided to freeze herself in diamonds. And then what happened is, after the credits rolled, apparently, remember when Annie, as in her female Titan form, was climbing the wall, she made indentations and holes in the wall. One of the holes crumbled enough, and you saw a Titan's eye in there. It's apparently a wall Titan, according to Wikipedia. So therein ends that. And then here I am thinking, that was such a great series. I finished the whole 25 episodes in a couple days? Dang, what should I do? By the way, if you guys have any movie recommendations, any movie at all, top 10 movies of all time, leave them down below in the comments. I don't care if I've already watched them, you don't know which ones I have or have not watched. Leave your comments, because I want to watch something. Anyhow, as you can see, winter break has taken a toll on me. I'm getting more and more bored. More so than that, I long for the human company and interactions with personalities like those in the Big Bang Theory, but alas, chasing dreams will lead to nothing. Anyhow, so here is where it goes on. I'm sitting there and I'm like, what should I do? So I check out the manga for Attack on Titan, which is actually called not Attack on Titan, but Shingeki no Kyojin. And so I flip to the thing and I'm like, yes! It looks like I have roughly 20 more chapters, which each chapter is actually 40 pages, so it's not like Naruto, Bleach, or One Piece. It is structured like Full Metal Alchemist, which is really funny because for some reason this reminds me a lot of Full Metal Alchemist. I think it's just because of the way the thing is drawn. It's more realistic. The humans are more realistic, and it's more driven on conspiracy as well as human interactions. So this is in fact it has to be inspired in some part by FMA. If you ask the author of this, guarantee you he will have admitted to reading FMA to the end. There's a lot of connections I could tell. Anyhow, so I'm like, okay, yes. Should I wait until every episode comes out, which, based on my experience with like Hunter x Hunter, and Toriko, that's like once every 2 weeks or maybe longer. And I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna waste all that time waiting. So here I am, having decided to continue reading the manga. So I have about 20 chapters of 40 pages each on top of the episodes that I haven't read yet. So I'm really excited. As you can see, this manga is so new, and yet so much has happened already. It is astounding. I mean, even with FMA, spoiler alert, FMA, like, it took a really long time for the plot to develop to this conspiracy sort of level that this one has in such a short time. I mean, FMA, you were pretty much just like, you could tell the author was making it up as he went, and therefore there was a lot of like really dull and lull moments in the series where it was just it was a lull in the whole like plot, and it was just like, I wouldn't call it filler, but like it was kind of boring at parts, and it was stretched out over many mini arcs. Not saying that there weren't boring parts in Attack on Titan as well, but compared to the good parts, it's the percentages differ. And plus, that could be just the anime. Maybe the manga didn't have these stupid like extended scenes where it's too much talking or too much music and whatever. So I'm reading this now. I'm reading the manga. I have actually read probably about 20 pages after the last episode, and that's where I stopped and I decided to make this video. First and foremost, I realized that this isn't going to be as visually appealing at all. I flipped through a few of the older pages, and the way the female Titan's drawn and the fight scenes and so forth, it's like it looked so much better in the anime in so many different avenues. It was cleaner. You got the 3D. You got that 3D attack scene with the 3D maneuvering gear, and the female Titan is a lot more clean. It's not like that here. It's like it's poor. I wouldn't say poorly drawn, but black and white and really nitty gritty. I mean, the pictures in themselves are kind of like roughly drawn. Regardless, though, I'm going to end with my predictions and what I've read. So, spoiler alert. So the ending scene was the wall Titan, where you can see his eye and part of his face out of the hole in the wall, and he's just blindly staring. So now I read about 10 pages from where I left off after Annie crystallized herself, and basically it's this priest who is one of the heads of the Wallist faction, the religious group that worships the walls and is so outspoken on any sort of defilement. And he runs up to this to one of the commanders, the crazy girl, I believe it's the crazy girl who wears glasses and has a ponytail and is obsessed with researching Titans. And she's honestly a really cool girl because she isn't as scared or easy to prejudice human Titans like Eren. However, long story short, this guy comes in, he's like, you gotta cover up the wall before the sun shines on this Titan. You gotta do it. So she's like, okay, I'll do it. So she does it. And then she's like, I've already dispatched my orders to have it cemented in. Now tell me what's going on. And lo and behold, this guy is a complete dick, an arrogant prick, a religious, arrogant fool. And he says like, I don't have to tell you anything. I'm too busy. And then he goes on and on about this. In fact, reading the words pissed me off so much. I'm actually going to go back to the page. Okay, so I'm going to read it back to you despite how much it pissed me off. So she says, what is that Titan? Why is there a Titan inside the wall in the first place? And why have you people kept quiet about the kept quiet about it the whole time? And then he's staring and he won't answer. He's staring away, he won't answer. And then he says, I cannot do that. I'm a busy man. My church and my followers are in utter chaos right now. And it is all your fault, you insolents. I shall make sure to demand indemnities for all the damage you have caused. Now let me off the wall. And so basically then she pulls this guy and threatens to drop him from the wall. And the guy is still being a complete arrogant prick. And it's so absurd to the point where I don't think it's realistic. But he's hanging off the cliff, and he's pretty much in the state where he is willing to die if he has to to achieve his point of being an arrogant prick. So despite being threatened with death from falling, he just keeps responding, "You are committing a grave offense, and you're committing a deadly sin against humanity by stepping on its right to live, right to life." And so this is pretty much where I stopped reading, but she pretty much like reasons it out. She's like, this has to do with why you guys, you wallists, won't let us reinforce the walls or touch the walls or dig under the walls. And the monarchist government granted you these things, so they know about this conspiracy too. And then she goes on to what I completely agree with, which is the whole concept that regardless of what's going on, the Scouting Legion and other humans, innocent humans, are being massacred. Their blood is being shed. And I didn't read the manga for this, but the anime was so touching. All those people that they had spent, the soldiers had spent years bonding with, just slaughtered and eaten by these titans. And still, like, the courage, the people who have still, knowing that they'll probably be slaughtered, they still go for it. They still attack that thing. Like, I probably couldn't do it myself. I would probably be in the MP, or probably the Royal Guard if I was able to, honestly. Because I would realize this is a complete stupid conspiracy. Like, it's all for naught. And it's like almost completely explained already, despite nothing being explicitly explained. Like, all the clues are already there. So my predictions before reading on and finishing up the next 20 chapters is this. The government knows about this. The monarch system knows about it. The king knows about it. No. The king doesn't. The king doesn't. That's why he was so scared when the commander left him. But people in the government know about this. There's probably a few spies in the MP and other organizations that know about this. The Wallace know about this. It's some huge conspiracy. Basically, why are there titans in the wall? Maybe because they're like reinforcements. So what's going on is that maybe they're storing titans in the wall in case they need them. Because my belief is that the whole... Okay, I don't really understand the titans in the wall thing, but my best explanation is that they're stored reinforcements, because my theory is that all the titans are owned by the government, and it's a faked ploy to control the masses and the naive so that they don't fight amongst themselves over race, ethnicity, religion, and so forth. And so they all unite over the fear of the titans. And so they were brought back after 100 years of peace because people were still maybe complaining or something. I don't know. But then again, there's still constantly scouting troops going out attacking these titans. And so I think what cements my theory is the whole flashbacks with Annie. How she's like constantly during the training process saying stuff like, oh, it doesn't matter, I don't really care. And the flashback with Aaron reasoning on what he viewed her back then. And remember, in Aaron's flashback, he was like, Annie, you always didn't give a crap about any of this. You thought it was all pointless. And that pretty much explains it. You know, Annie knew it was all pointless because she was one of the spies in the government who was employed by the government for the greater good, which would completely support the flashback Annie had, where she was like told by his father, even if everyone hates you, you're doing like the right thing for the greater good, and I will always support you. So I'm assuming like she knows all about this, and she was one of the select few informed and told by the government. So I think her duty is simply to masquerade as a spy, as well as prevent the MP and Scouting Legion from finding out too much about the Titans, as well as leading the Titans into the villages for attacks. and her newest mission, which was to extract Eren from this, because here we have Eren who doesn't know what's going on, who has now the human Titan ability as well. And therefore, from here I can probably theorize on what Eren's father is. He's probably someone, a scientist, who maybe played a part in inventing this sort of Titan conspiracy. And so maybe he defected slightly and he was like, I don't like the system. I'm going to transform my son secretly into a human Titan. And once he's come of age, I'll explain it to him in the basement. And so that didn't happen because things changed and the government maybe captured him or something. And long story short, that's what it is. And then it makes sense because Eren in the flashback on Annie was like, Annie, the only time you were really captivated and interested and passionate about what you're doing was when you were fighting. You had some purpose in that because she was obviously really trained in fighting and combat abilities, and that was the only thing that really made logical sense to her, because everything else, like training to fight the Titans, was just a joke to her. She was someone who was like herding the Titans in. And then finally, I guess, I think that's pretty much it. And then there's different, my theory is that there's different types of Titans. As explained in my last video, there's the crap stupid Titans who are just drones and eat humans, and maybe these were made by scientists in the inner government. Let it be noted that the inner like sanctum with the last wall, there we haven't seen much of it other than that one scene with the king. So who knows what's going on there. So my idea is that there's the drones or pawns of Titans who are simply just mindless, stupid idiots. And then you got the smarter ones, the aberrants, who are all human Titan people who can transform into Titans. And so these are the ones that herd the drones to attack the city to quell the crowd. And it all leads back to that bald commander who referenced that story briefly about how 100 years ago there was this myth that there's fightings amongst the humans about race and ethnicity and so forth, and something had to have been done to unite the humans, and so a fake enemy was brought forth. I don't think the author would just put that story, that myth in there without any indication or foreshadowing. It was done on purpose as a clue. So that's pretty much it. And my last prediction is that a few people high up in the government, maybe that bald guy with the who always drinks beer, maybe he's one of the human Titan people. But at the same time, he did help Eren out when he could have just tried to kill off Eren there. He actually helped secure the wall. Why exactly would he do that? You know what? I think he may be an actual human and not a human Titan. But the human Titans, I believe that they are like, they can be made with a certain amount of injections, which would explain Eren's father's injections. By the way, if I get all this right, please do not confirm it in the comments if you've already read the manga series and it's been revealed. That would just spoil it for me. But finally, I think typically what happens is the select few are briefed. They are taught how to use their Titan abilities, such as the hardening, the crystallization of areas, or the specification to heal specific areas faster by concentrating. These things were all taught to those who were like naturally given the ability, but Eren was a special case because of the defect of his father, and therefore he was never taught these things. So all he can do is he has to figure out himself how to transform, and he's probably too stupid to figure out all the other stuff. That's all I gotta say, man. It's been a long time. Peace. As always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe.